back.
Oh, fuck. I hate it when it's like this. What's happening?
Yeah, I'm ready. What's your disturbing fact?
Oh, fuck. Okay. I'm ready.
By the way, my dog is on the mend.
Oh, yeah. Bruno's doing better. Yay. Okay, you're going to love this.
Do tell.
Whiskey made from diabetic urine.
What the fuck? Where do you find these things?
I don't know.
Do you just look up random things about pee? Toilet talk.
No, I look up random facts about urine specifically.
That's so weird. You're such an odd person.
And I was thinking the other day when you said, oh, Liquid IV, sponsor us. I was thinking, yes, because it makes our urine great. Great flavored pee. But then I didn't say it, and now I did. So there you go. So anyway,
That's so funny.
This guy, his name is James Gilpin, and he is a designer and researcher who works on the implementation of new biomedical technologies. And he also happens to have type 1 diabetes. And obviously, that's his body doesn't produce insulin. He can't regulate his blood sugar and all of that. So he started a project which turns sugar-rich urine of elderly diabetics, so putting those seniors back to work, into high-end single malt whiskey suitable for export. So apparently we don't want to drink it here in the United States.
Yeah, he's like, we won't sell it. We won't sell it domestically, but internationally it can go.
Right.
Well, that's really fucking disgustingly disturbing.
So the source material, aka the urine, is acquired from elderly volunteers, including Gilpin's own grandmother. So it's an in-house production. The urine
Where do people think of these things?
I don't know, but it's awesome. The urine is...
Is it?
Yes,
I feel pretty repulsed.
I think it's great because it's, like I said, it's resourceful. So anyway, urine is, clearly it's fucking resourceful. Urine is purified in the same way as water is purified. And then the sugar molecules are removed and then added back to the mash stock of the whiskey to accelerate the fermentation process, because traditionally sugar is what causes or creates the fermentation.
Okay, so here's where my concern lies. This is what I'm thinking. What is he doing? Like being like, we're the old people, type 1 diabetes.
It just says that once it's fermented into clear alcohol spirit whiskey blends are added to give color, taste, so not urine flavored, and viscosity, and then the product is bottled with the name and age of the contributor. That's fucking cool as shit. You know how we drink that wine, or you drink the wine, but I like the bottles, but I don't drink wine? That like 19 Crimes or whatever, and it has like a criminal on it. So this is going to be like Beatrice, age 95. This is who peed your whiskey. So the original...
Well, it's my problem is that you keep doing things with urine.
I know.
I don't like it.
I know. And I had gotten off the urine train for a while.
I like to do it because it repulses you.
Yes,
specifically,
exactly.
Daphne. What if someone is throwing up in a garbage can right now listening to this?
Well, then they can forward through this part once they're done vomiting. No, I just got off the urine thing for a while. But then I was like, I need some more urine facts. So
urine talk with Daphne and Gail.
So the original idea came from an unverified story he heard about a pharmaceutical company that had supposedly set up a factory next to an old person's home, so like a nursing home, retirement home, whatever, and would swap cushions and soft toys for the residents' urine. It's like, here, have a pillow. Can I have your pee? And then they processed the urine and removed the chemicals that had passed straight through a dilapidated endocrine system. So, your body's excretion of the urine. And then they would purify it and put it straight into medicine.
Right. This is literally other problem is it's like literally you pee out toxins. So, but I guess alcohol is toxins, but still I'm like, you're just doubling down on some toxins.
It's like, but it's like the astronauts in space drinking their own purified urine. It's just that this urine is fermented and turned into whiskey instead of water.
It just sounds gross.
Oh yeah, it's disgusting. But
finally, you just said it. It's disgusting.
I just thought it was pretty awesome. Yeah, I totally don't like whiskey, so I feel safe knowing that I'm probably never going to have a Michelob Ultra that has urine in it. Hopefully.
That probably has urine in it, maybe.
Probably does not.
Yeah, well, it's just diet beer water, so.
Mm-hmm. It's delicious. And just like
diet beer flavored water.
Yeah, just like drinking water. with beer flavor. Exactly.
So weird.
All right. Well, I was going to say what'd you think, but I clearly know what you think.
I mean, it's interesting, but it's
the
disgusting. I just wonder why one day his brain said, I wonder I can make whiskey out of piss. Like, that's just concerning to me. But, it's like the people who came up with the story of Tell Me Lies. Like, why is this through people's brains?
Yeah, but who's addicted to it? So if you had urine flavored, or not urine flavored, but whiskey created from urine, you may become addicted. Because Tell Me Lies, you're addicted to that show. You can't wait for it to come out. Every time a trailer teaser, you're like, oh my God, Mom. And so if you drank urine whiskey, you'd be like, oh my God, Mom, the urine whiskey's amazing.
No.
I like the Ed.
No. It's not anything I'm actually consuming physically.
I think you are, actually, to be honest.
Consuming Tell Me Lies physically?
Yes, because you take it into your brain and then you live and breathe it. So that's physical.
It's not, I don't live and breathe it.
Oh my God, you totally do.
Are you kidding? I am not having an affair with a married man or dating I don't know, maybe he's a pathological liar. I'm not sure. But maybe he is really a Stephen DeMarco serial killer. But you're like, type.
Oh my God, I'm rewatching it with Alyssa and we're texting the whole time. Oh my God, I'm rewatching it with Lindsay and we're texting the whole time. Mom, rewatch it with me so that I can tell you and I can talk about it. And
so
we can
text about it when we're not together.
or when we're sitting next to each other, either way.
No, I am just greatly in love with that show.
Clearly.
Okay. I think we should dive into this.
Probably.
Because it's long. It's going to be it's obvious it's going to be 2 parts. Like, it's not going to be one.
So obviously it's going to be 2 because it's not going to be 1.
But here's the thing. I feel like I need to preface this. You guys suck at listening to 2-parters. The numbers for the first one will be like sky high. Then the second one is like down, or it's one or the other. It's never like consistent across 2 parts where it's like, or at least close to the same amount of listens. Right. It's like part fucking 3 of Samuel Little is like, wow, incredibly great stats. Yet part 2 is like one of like the worst rated episodes for us.
I think people just want to skip to the end.
Right, but it's not really the end. So anyway, listen to both parts. I think this is going to be one of our most iconic episodes yet. And I may proceed.
I may. Please do.
On July 1st, 1999, there was a shooting in the Santa Barbara Plaza of the Jungle where it was reported that a man was talking to and then shot 2 transients. So this area of LA is called the Jungle. It's the turf of the Black Pea Stones, which is like an offshoot of the greater Bloods gang, Bloods versus Crips. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's an offshoot of that gang. And it's obviously then, as you can imagine, like this area, it's a tiny little area. I'm talking like mere blocks. Is this where it's called the Jungle? It's basically, I have it down here somewhere where it's like actually the town, how spread out it is. But anyway, not a safe area, poverty stricken. Drug dealings, gang violence, yeah. So the victims were Annette Lewis and Percy Branch. And according to eyewitnesses, Perry was just hanging out with Annette. And a car pulled up and someone was talking to Annette about money, and then a man started shooting at them. Annette tried to run and get away, but she was shot in the back about 5 times. Oof. And she quickly passed away. Like, the paramedics got to her, and then she succumbed to her injuries like within, I think they said like a couple hours, maybe less than that. Police came to the scene, obviously, then were collecting shell casings where they found Perry hiding away, trying to, protect himself. But he was shot. He was in critical condition. He was like not doing too well, gonna die. And then they took him to the hospital, obviously, where he's in critical condition. Tried to interview him. He was out of it. It also said that he was developmentally disabled. So he like really couldn't recount like who shot him, like any memory of the events that took place. And before he was, in a more stable state of mind after, surgeries and being on so much meds, unfortunately, he passed away in the hospital.
Oh, that's sad.
So this area of Santa Barbara Plaza, specifically a turf to the Black Pea Stones, which, as we said, subsidiary of the Bloods gang.
Subsidiary.
Sorry. Subsidiary.
Okay. Like now I'm on Subway, thanks.
Brain don't work. And a lot of drug dealings took place in this park. Like, this park was pretty hot for drugs.
Okay.
And both Annette and Percy were either, I saw this both ways, that they were struggling drug addicts or they were the dealers. One or the other.
Okay.
Not sure. And Annette's son was actually a member of the Black Pea Stones. So just kind of...
So she was older, or she was like a young...
I can't find like any information on either of them, so that kind of sucks.
It does suck. Okay. Did you even go to like find a grave?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Not a ton of information.
Okay.
I'm planning to continue to dig for part 2, but what I have happening right here for part 1 is hella long.
Okay.
Don't get discouraged, people. It's poppin'. I really think it's going to be one of the most iconic ones that we do.
Okay, we'll see.
So, like I said, member of the Black Pea Stones. The Black Pea Stones were established in the 60s by the OG T. Rogers, and he was a part of the Blackstone Rangers. And that's, again, another offshoot of the Bloods. And the Black Pea Stones has 2 subsets of its own, the Jungles and the City. The Jungles is the Crenshaw district of South Los Angeles, and the neighborhood is in the Baldwin Village apartment complex behind the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Plaza and between Crenshaw Boulevard and La Brea. I think Brea or Brea.
La Brea, I think.
I thought it was Brea, and then I was questioning myself. Boulevard. So like I'm talking like, it's just blocks. The Jungle's just blocks. And the gang's like known to be on pretty good terms with other Bloods around southern Los Angeles, or around South, I guess they call it South Los Angeles. And especially the Fruittown Brims and the Rollin' 20s neighborhood Bloods. They're like cool with them. They've had like turf wars, I guess, if you will, with other gangs in South LA, which includes the Rollin' 40 Crips, the 18th Street Gang, and one of the largest Latino gangs in the city, and the Rollin' 30s Harlem Crips.
And I've heard of all of those except for the Rollin' 30s, but I have heard of the other ones.
Have you heard of the Black Pea Stones?
I had not. That I didn't, but like the other ones,
I'm
like
really
18th
hoping
Street Gang and...
that you don't know anything that's going on today.
Okay.
Because I really think you're going to like it.
Dude, I have no idea what happened today.
Okay. You're like, I had no clue what even took place in the last 20 minutes.
Right.
When I asked you to get us set up and I came back out and you were like sitting on your phone and I go, hey, is the Scarlet plugged in? Oh, no, I said, hey, did you get us set up? You're like, you already made the episode. You already created the file. I was like, anything look turned off to you? Our microphones, you maybe want to deal with those? Like I asked you, I didn't hear you say that. Oh, maybe it's because you're on fucking Poshmark trying to shop. When the police ran the shell casings from this crime scene that they collected, right, they found that they were related to 2 other shootings that happened in March and April of 1999. They learned that this was from a Colt 45 handgun.
And 2 zigzags.
I know, I can't stop thinking about that every time I read this. The shooting in March took place in the Santa Barbara Plaza of the Jungle. Same place I'm talking about, right? But someone was shooting out of a black Cadillac. And then the second shooting in April took place at the Santa Barbara Islamic Center, where the assailant allegedly threw a brick through a window, which then caused a shootout, and allegedly a bunch of people died. But if you look it up, all you get is mass shootings or school shootings or Islam's being victims of hate crimes, I don't see anything about this. So, but it did happen at an Islamic center. There was a shootout there, but I don't really know if anyone died. I can't find anything about it.
And so it was the same black Cadillac?
What?
The black Cadillac.
Someone was shooting out of the black Cadillac in the March shooting.
Okay, but it wasn't the black Cadillac that threw...
It was on foot.
Okay.
It was on foot. The April incident was on foot. The next incident was on foot, the one where Annette and Percy died. But said person did get out of a vehicle.
Okay. Black Cadillac, or we don't know. Nobody could recount because Annette's dead and Percy couldn't recall, and then he was dead.
Well, I mean, we know now because we know.
Because we do.
Because the shooting in March, the one that shot out of the black Cadillac with the Colt 45 was registered to Lloyd Avery II.
Okay.
Do you know who this person is? Thank goodness. I was like, if she knows this, I'm going to cry because I'm like, I just don't want you to know this because I want you to go through it all with me.
Okay.
I want you to experience the, OMG, what the fuck? I'm so mad. Why did he do that? What a good kid experience that I just had last night.
So I need the ups and downs.
Yeah, you need the roller coaster with me.
Okay.
Lloyd Fernandez Avery II was born June 21st, 1969 in Los Angeles. His dad was Lloyd Avery Sr., and he was a self-employed service technician handyman. And Linda, his mom, was a stay-at-home mom, and then later she went on to work for a bank. He had 3 siblings, 2 brothers and 1 sister, and they grew up in the View Park area of LA, which was like a nicer area. They had a comfortable childhood. I think his brother's name, I don't know how to say it. It's C-H-E. Chi?
Probably.
I think so. Chi, his older brother, said, quote, "We were silver spoon kids. We never needed for nothing." And some of their other friends, like they had, you know, needs, but they had a pool in their backyard. Like they were doing well.
Okay.
The family was raised in a Christian household. Their parents instilled like these values into the boys and the girl. They had a good education. They were enrolled in like lots of programs at school. Lloyd, he drove a brown Ford Bronco, and he was reported always doing donuts outside of his school gym in high school. And he was the class clown. People really liked him. They said he was usually telling jokes, but he was really shy, but he was also a really fun person to be around, obviously. And it said that he like didn't date too much. Like he wasn't really focused on dating, but all the girls like noticed him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Mom, I'm in love with a criminal.
Great.
This man, oh my God.
But he was born like around the same time as your dad, so.
This man. Anyway, he's
older than I am.
He was mixed. He was Hispanic and black, and has like light colored eyes and like really pretty eyelashes. Oh, he's nice looking. He graduated from school at Beverly Hills High School, where he played baseball and water polo. Like I said, they were very well like integrated into everything, he and his siblings.
And Beverly Hills High School.
Yeah, nice high school. Why are you flipping me off?
Sorry, I was just rubbing my chapstick in with my middle finger.
Flipping me off. While in school, he became friends with the singer Smokey Robinson and his kids.
Oh, that's cool.
He was friends with Quincy Jones, the music producer, and like became like best friends with his son QD3.
Aw.
And he was friends with the music executive Clarence Avant.
Okay.
He and his friends would often attend house parties on the weekend, you know, going to mansions, doing crazy things while their parents were out of town.
Typical teenage stuff, but Beverly Hills style.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Lloyd didn't drink or do drugs. Instead, he liked to party. And his friend and actor Doran Reed said he would steal shit at parties just to steal shit. That was like his style.
Okay. Everybody loves a thief. Not.
At this point,
clearly,
he wasn't really a
love
criminal. Yeah, I just said, Mom, I'm in love with a criminal.
Okay.
At this point, he wasn't really becoming the criminal that he was just like...
This was criminal light.
It was just more attention-seeking, troublemaking nature. I mean, yes, not good to steal shit, but like also light on the scale of crimes. During one night in 1988, he and his friends, including the actor Doran Reed, were leaving a UCLA house party in Westwood when they ran into a group of frat bros. He like cracked a joke. The bros didn't appreciate the joke. Fight broke out. Cops were coming. 3 gunshots were fired. It wasn't Lloyd who had the gun. I don't know who had the gun. I don't think anyone was actually shot. I think they were just fired. But he had a fake ID, so they took him to jail for 3 days. And his friend Keith Davis said, "What scared me was that Lloyd was laughing about it. He told me that he really liked jail. It's like, how the hell do you get locked up and just enjoy it? He was so flippant."
Alrighty then.
Yeah, it's just odd.
I really liked it.
Okay, so he briefly attended Los Angeles Trade Technical College, but it wasn't really his jam. I mean, like, being a handyman pretty, like, came naturally to him.
Because his dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, he had a gift for, you know, just random repairs and doing things like that.
Nice.
But, yeah, he didn't want to do that. He aspired to have a career in music and acting.
Okay.
And, you know, obviously these are the people he's surrounding himself with, too.
Mm-hmm.
So he dropped out of the trade college, worked for his dad. He really wanted to pursue music, though. His dad didn't agree. So much so, his dad decided to take a baseball bat to his SP-1200.
What's that?
Yeah, I literally wrote in my notes, "This is a sampling drum machine for anyone else who didn't know, like myself." You know, like the giant DJ sets.
Well, no, when
it's
you
like
said a sampling drum machine, then I knew what it was. But you gave the model number and serial number. I was like, what?
Well, that's because it's what it is. And apparently
it is.
It's apparently like pretty like a nifty thing to have if you're in the music world.
Alrighty then. I
I
bet
don't know
Bill
anything about-
knows.
He probably does, yeah. Maybe he can ask at Keith's babysitting club. His mom said, quote, he wasn't all that happy with the choices Lloyd made, but what his father wanted for Lloyd wasn't for Lloyd.
Isn't that always the way?
Exactly.
So
So
my
little,
dad, he loved everything I did.
little Mr. Jailbird
Not
himself. Yeah, I know. Yeah, your dad was like, what the fuck you doing, girl?
Right.
Mr. Jailbird himself, he got arrested again in June of 1990 for stealing studio equipment from a guitar center.
Because his dad smashed his shit, and so he had to get more, and he didn't have the money.
Yeah.
Or
Exactly.
something. Is that? Was I right?
Well, he just didn't have it and he
I like
wanted
how you
it
called
again.
him Little Jailbird. Mr. Little Jailbird. Jailbird himself. Okay.
Well, he was like, I like it.
Right.
So now he's going to be referred to as Jailbird. Or not. I don't know. We can still call him Lloyd. I'm not really sure. I don't really care. His friend John
Alrighty
Singleton was making his first feature film around this time. Lloyd, or Jailbird, would later say, I met the right person at the right time and they put me in a movie. Like
That's
that's
cool.
a quote from him. So John was writing this movie, and I'm going to give you the IMDb synopsis and the Google synopsis respectfully, and I'm going to let you respectively, not respectfully, respectively. I have respectively in my notes too. I'm just also brain dead. Watching Bruno has been exhausting because I'm not sleeping because I'm concerned about him. Anyway, respectively, IMDb and then Google, and I'm going to allow you to guess the movie because if you don't, there might be a fat throat punch coming your way.
Alrighty then. Not a skinny one?
Follows the lives of 3 young males living in the Crenshaw ghetto of Los Angeles, dissecting questions of race, relationships, violence, and future prospects. That's the IMDb. The Google one is Trey is sent to live with his father, Furious Styles, in a tough South Central Los Angeles. But I can't words, I'm sorry. Although his hard-nosed father instills proper values and respect in him, his devout girlfriend Brandy teaches him about faith. Trey's friends Doughboy and Ricky don't have the same kind of support and are drawn to the neighborhood's booming drug and gang culture with increasingly tragic results.
Colors?
No.
I know the movie, though. I know it 100%, but the name Colors came to my brain. But what is it? No, because I know. And I know Cuba Gooding Jr. plays Trey and Ice Cube plays Doughboy.
Uh-huh.
See, I have all the deets. What the fuck is it called?
Boys
Oh, Boys in the Hood.
Mom, I'm gonna have to come throat punch you. You should have known that like it was a second language to you.
I should have.
Like the back of your hand.
But did I
you
not
are
know
obsessed.
who played what and who was who? And I mean, I've seen it 100 times.
Yeah.
But I've also seen Colors 100 times, and I usually watch them like together. It's usually like a movie marathon of Colors and Boys in the Hood.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just telling you that I'm disappointed.
Plus, it's late, and I haven't slept either.
My disappointment hasn't floundered. It's still here.
Okay.
The cast was made up of mostly locals, which really gave the movie a sense of realism. I mean, obviously, there were some celebrities in it, as you just named. Like, Ice Cube was pretty big around this time. I love Ice Cube. But it gave it a sense of, like reality that these are kids from the hood, or maybe not all, because Lloyd wasn't actually from the hood. But a lot of them were boys growing up in South Central Los Angeles. So Lloyd had to be on set, even if he wasn't filming that day, just to show support for the film and his co-stars. And people remember him as being friendly and humble. And he apparently took direction well from his friend John. John's this director.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like,
John Singleton?
Yeah. He's like, I don't have these guys that are, really well trained, but, I'm going to train them as I go. And, we're going to make this real sense of a movie, though, even though these are not trained actors.
Mm-hmm.
Lloyd had the biggest scene in the movie. Do you want to guess which scene he's in? Who he is?
No fucking idea.
It's just ridiculous. Lloyd is credited as Knucklehead number 2.
Oh, well, oh my God, forgive me.
Who leans out of the car with a rifle and shoots Ricky in the back as he's running.
Aw, I hate that.
That's Lloyd.
Aw.
Yeah.
See, it's all coming back to me, Ricky.
Okay.
Because he was headed off to be a football star.
Uh-huh.
And he had a girlfriend and they had a baby. And life was going to be good.
And then they got into that bad spot, with the friend. And then they were with his brother and then they ran.
Yeah. Because Doughboy was his brother.
Yeah. Ice Cube.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Oh, reliving true colors. True colors.
Boys in the Hood. Oh my gosh, Mom.
Daphne!
The film was nominated for Best Director
I can't
and
even remember what I had for lunch, so forgive me.
The film was nominated for Best Director and Best Original Screenplay at the 64th Academy Awards and was selected in 2002 for preservation in the National Film Registry.
It is a great movie.
It's iconic.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
His character, only had maybe 10 lines, but it made him a local celebrity around the neighborhoods in Los Angeles because he's beautiful and he's 6'1". And obviously this is a pretty Crenshaw heavy area, and he played Crenshaw in the movie.
Okay.
That's Bloods.
Yes.
For anyone who doesn't know.
Yeah, duh. Whose side were you on?
But he basically would get instantly recognized and get ushered into clubs and was just really riding out and exploiting his newfound fame. He hired an agent, started lining up auditions. He had the looks happening. He even went as far as to help produce the song Push, which was the lead single on Tisha Campbell's debut album, Tisha.
You're looking at me like, don't you know, Mom? Are you listening to it on your Walkman or whatever?
Well, I know you. You were enriched in this kind of culture. You were really into it. Maybe not till you were a little older, but I knew you were into this stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought you would be more impressed with this. But
I am.
It's fine.
I'm super impressed.
I'm impressed with it.
I'm super impressed.
I'm doing this for myself anyway.
Exactly. When Daphne and I went to see Straight Outta Compton and the feud between Bloods and the Crips and East Coast, West Coast and all this shit. And Daphne's like, whose side were you on? I was like, well, I was a fucking white girl in Colorado, so I didn't really take sides. I just remember it all happening.
Right.
But I wasn't really floating colors for either one.
Yeah, then that makes sense. That makes sense.
It was just so funny because seriously, she's like, oh my God, whose side were you on?
Yeah, well, I wasn't educated at that point on the gang life. So his friend John then hired him again to do a follow-up movie called Poetic Justice.
Oh, I've seen it.
You have? I haven't seen
Tupac's in it.
Yes. It's got Tupac, Janet Jackson, Regina King, Diedrich D. Gobert. Anyway, he's credited as playing Thug Number 1, which was a notch above Knucklehead Number 2. And John this time did a really good job of training Lloyd for everything. And his brother Chi also played in the movie, and he was credited as being Thug Number 2.
Nice.
Yeah. The synopsis of this movie from Google is, still grieving after the murder of her boyfriend, hairdresser Justice writes poetry to deal with the pain of her loss. Unable to get to Oakland to attend a convention because of her broken down car, Justice gets a lift with her friend Isha and Isha's postal worker boyfriend Chicago. Along for the ride is Chicago's coworker Lucky, to whom Justice grows close after some initial problems. But is she ready to open up her heart again?
And Justice is Janet Jackson.
Yes. I love Regina King. That's so cool that she's
in, wasn't she in Boys in the Hood too? Any hoodles, never mind. Don't worry about it.
I know Angela Bassett was. Yeah. I don't know. Regina King was.
Yeah, I don't remember.
His
Although I'm throwing it out there
here again, though, was to murder an innocent dude. And
so he's been typecast already?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So at the premiere, he stood up during the closing credits when they were rolling and yelled, "That shit was whack, John." And then walked out. And this somehow didn't end their relationship and friendship because, obviously this is a big moment for John.
Mm-hmm.
And his friend, who's a fellow actor in the movie, is like, fuck you, basically.
Right. It's whack.
You did this to me. Yeah. And John just brushed it off. He's like, it's just Lloyd being Lloyd. No, hold people accountable. Around this time, Lloyd was staying with producer and filmmaker QD3. And
who's Quincy Jones's son, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure I'm following
who
along.
lived in the jungle. So this is when he moved to the jungle and why he left his nicer lifestyle to go live in the jungle. I'm not sure.
Rebel.
Yeah. He'd already become a legend in this area because of his role in Boys in the Hood. Baldwin C. Skies, who was a Compton native and who played Monster in Boys in the Hood, said he received similar praise because of his character. And said that Lloyd, quote, he probably got a pass for the fact that he killed someone as a blood on film. And then he said, up to this day, I have people say, Monster, you shot the blood you represented. You should be down with my hood. And I'm like, I'm not down with the hood. That was an acting role.
Right. Way to separate life and reality.
But
Life and reality.
Lloyd is not doing such a great job of separating that.
And I said it wrong, life and reality. I meant not life and reality.
Yes. Separate reality versus acting.
Yes.
He was really like loving his claim to fame as Knucklehead #2.
So he's rolling with it.
He's really rolling it with it. When he moved to the jungle, he actually then started to embrace the gang culture. He wasn't like in it really before he moved to the jungle. Then all of a sudden he decided he was going to be a part of it. Malcolm Norrington, who played Knucklehead #1 in Boys in the Hood, said this of him. He said, quote, "He was kind of meek. He was not anything near a street guy. Within a year of Boys, I was hearing about him missing auditions. I don't remember when I heard about him joining a gang. I just remember being perplexed. To me, it was like, what is he doing blooding? Lloyd?"
So his friends are surprised that he's making bad choices.
And his friend Keith Davis, this is going to be a quote from him, but he was talking about when he remembered the first time that Lloyd actually really said that he was a blood. Quote, "We were shopping at the Sloss and Swap meet. Some rolling 60s came up and were like, 'You're the guy from Boys in the Hood?' 'Yeah, that was me.' 'You shot Ricky, right?' 'Yeah, that was me.' 'Hey, 'cause you really a blood?' 'Yeah, what's up, blood?' And I was looking at him like, 'What?' Lloyd just kind of laughed. They asked him if he was a blood and it clicked. 'Yeah, I'm a blood now.'" Wow. So he's admitting it now, like in front of his friends.
Right. He's embracing the role as reality.
Right. So Lloyd's association with the Bloods made him like, it was off-putting to a lot of people around him though, because he also like grew up in Crip territory. So this is like, kind of cross turfs.
Right.
But switch teams.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry,
but not really, because he didn't really have
in the first place. Then...
Yeah, but he knew people.
Okay.
He knew the dangers of gangbanging, and he knew that this wasn't a good idea because his younger brother died of it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm just telling you this now.
Okay.
I haven't said it yet.
Oh, this is a secret.
Yeah, his younger brother died, and his elder brother Chi, he was admitted to like UC Berkeley. This is going to be a little bit about Chi now from this moment on, just because I'm trying to give you the background of these
it's
people.
Just the way you said it from this moment on until it isn't.
Till I go back to Lloyd. We're going to be talking about Chi. He was admitted to UC Berkeley and UCLA, and that's pretty cool. He got like a 3.6 GPA at Beverly Hills High School. He decided not to go to either. He just decided like the streets were for him. He was like, I don't want to hang with the rich kids. He said he partied with the Menendez brothers on prom night. He dressed in Eazy-E cosplay. He had like this image in his brain that he wanted to live up to. And obviously, as we know, like Eazy-E, all these people, not the Menendez brothers, but like famous people, right, that I'm talking about, the Eazy's, the people in the music industry, these people.
The Ice Cube, the Tupac.
Take some kind of affiliation and are some kind of, not all of them, but it's a very common thing that they're
a Crip or a Blood.
Gang affiliated, yeah.
Okay, gang affiliated, better way to say it.
So, and this is still prevalent to this day. We still see this happening.
Do we?
Yeah. We do. I don't know any now rappers, though, so I couldn't tell you who's
This is the way you said it. We still see this happening. Oh, okay.
We do. I personally observe it. In November 1994, Lloyd's co-star, Diedrich D. Gober, became involved in a gang-related fight during which he was shot and killed along with his friend in an illegal street race.
That's so sad.
And he was killed before his 23rd birthday. And Lloyd then started his own gang, like his own offshoot of the Bloods.
Yeah, sorry, I just had a face.
Which, hear me out, kind of dig it. It's called the DGFs. Can you guess what that stands for?
His friend that died and something else.
No, don't give a fucks.
Oh, I like it.
That's what I'm saying. I kind of don't hate it.
I might, if I was going to join a gang, it would be that one.
It would be that one for sure, yeah. Each night, these...
But they're Bloods, right? So we have to wear red?
Yeah.
I look good in red.
I look really good in red.
Okay, cool.
And I'm really modest about it, too.
Clearly.
So I could do that. I could be a part of the DGFs.
Do I look better in red or blue?
I don't know. But we can't be opposing, so you gotta look good in red. We can't be on opposite sides, so you gotta look good in red.
Okay. I can try to pull it off.
At least a shade, or just wear it on your shoes. Each night, just make it color coordinated somehow into your outfit. Carry around a red bandana in your pocket.
That's what I'll do. Problem solved.
So each night they like with his brother. I'm sorry, now we're back on his brother. We're back on
Lloyd or Chi. Okay.
Chi would like go out, get wasted, and get into trouble. And eventually he became like pretty like higher up. And
moving up the gang chain. The chain gang?
The chain gang, yeah. Doran Reed, the actor, the friend, the family, I guess he's probably friends with Chi also, obviously, because he's observing these things that he does. He said, quote, Chi once came to a party with Lloyd and I. He was like, this is a whole other gang here. All of a sudden, Chi starts throwing rocks at them. The other gang is like, what the fuck is going on? One of them recognizes Chi and was like, Chi, let it go. The whole gang was there and they didn't fuck with Chi. That's a little insight into how crazy he was. And then Chi soon graduated from the Don't Give a Fucks into the Rollin' 60s, which is a Crip. So he's really switching sides.
Teams,
yeah. He was expected to put in work, as they do. And
yeah.
Another quote from Doran Reed. If you wanted to establish yourself as someone in your hood or to be reckoned with, if you wanted to earn your stripes or even give your neighborhood a name, if you from a neighborhood and you already have a reputation of being troublemakers or being the toughest, then not only have to defend your neighborhood, but let's go over here to such and such's neighborhood, put in the work without saying too much, put in work, terrorize them, whatever comes with that.
That's all bad.
It's so sad.
It's terrible.
So basically, you just put in the work for recognition you deserve in the gang.
Yeah, understood.
Chi lost 2 friends in 1990 due to gang violence, so he should have known better. And after he was consumed with rage, started carrying a .22 revolver, which made him feel untouchable. He committed a bunch of crimes of armed robberies and breaking and entering with fellow Crips, who referred to him as the BK, the blood killer.
I've heard of that before.
Yeah.
I've heard of the blood killer.
Yeah, well, that's what he was being referred to as. Considering how dangerous this lifestyle is, some 30 years later now, he says he feels grateful to be alive and that he,
I can imagine.
He said, quote, all the stupid nights doing stupid shit every fucking night. Just senseless brother. So he knew he was basically as good as dead at this point, so he dropped the gang lifestyle and pled guilty to 9 felony charges of armed robbery and served around 4 years in different prisons around California, where he was assigned as a firefighter. And then he learned how truly harsh prison was, and he got shook down for $40 by a Mexican gang at one point, and then he sharpened a bunch of shanks to protect himself against said gang, and then his cellmate ratted on him, and then he went to the hole. But he said that he was very happy to be out and that he was done with the gang lifestyle when he got released from prison in 1996, went back to school at some point, started his own business. And he said, quote, when I went to jail, Lloyd was a goody two-shoes. By the time I got out, he had a case. Yeah.
That's no good.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Never mind. I was going to say, how do you get out of the gang? Because don't you not?
You leave?
Yeah.
Well, he literally fled. He now he lives in Georgia.
Oh. I mean, I'm sure. Yeah. Never mind. I was going to say, I'm sure there are gangs in Georgia, but.
Oh, absolutely. I think they're everywhere, aren't they?
Yeah.
So Lloyd, by that time, had multiple cases pending when his brother was released from prison, adding burglary and weapons possession to his arrest record. And he was firmly at this point, for real, settled into the jungle. And then made his connections to the Black Pea Stones, not just, forming his own gang, but actually becoming affiliated in the neighborhood now that he's in.
Mm-hmm.
So super weird, but because of his roles and his murders on said movies, one of the OGs of the Black Pea Stones was obsessed with him and was like, I love you. I'm going to show you all the attention, but you got to earn my respect still.
He was fanboying. But
yeah, fangirling.
Yeah, well, he's a guy, though, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So I was going to say fangirling, but yeah, he was being a big old fan.
Yeah, he's like, my claim to fame is being Knucklehead number 2. And so he dressed like him. Started dressing like Knucklehead number 2. Well, everywhere he went.
Might as well go with it, I guess.
Yeah, he's playing a real life role at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He's method acting for life. Chi says that once he came across someone with Avery's face tattooed on his forearm, and he always called his brother Avery.
Okay.
The last
Oh,
name.
Lloyd.
Yeah,
Lloyd
Lloyd.
Avery. Because I'm like, who's Avery? But no, the last name. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So someone had Lloyd's face tattooed on
Yeah.
him?
Sorry. I'm sorry. I will go back to calling him that. But this was a quote that he had Avery's face tattooed on him. But
That's random.
Yes, Lloyd's face was tattooed on his forearm. And
That's some love.
he then tattooed himself a J in Old English above his left eyebrow. And then a few weeks later, he filled in the rest to say Jungles. So he's really,
Sorry, I'm just like
diving into this lifestyle now.
Clearly. Face tattoos are real commitment.
It is. I've always wanted one that says fuck off, but I haven't gotten it yet. Anyway, he was really starting to feel down because boys came so easily and the poetic justice followed like really easy and nothing was coming. And he was like, I'm going to be a criminal while I keep auditioning. And
just like, until I get a job acting, I might as well just keep being a criminal.
Yeah, Doran Reed said, I auditioned him once, and if that's how he was auditioning, he wasn't going to get anything. Basically, like, he wasn't preparing for his auditions, wasn't even, like, showing up sometimes.
Well, you're not going to get any jobs if you're not showing up.
Yeah, truly.
And not practicing either, because people don't just hand that shit just because.
Yeah.
Just because somebody else has your face tattooed on them.
Right.
Yeah.
Freaking ridiculous.
Oh, that's crazy.
And his music career is also stalling out.
Shocker.
Yeah, because he's not putting in any work.
Right.
His next role was in 1996. He played an uncredited role in the Wayans brothers' crime comedy, Don't Be a Menace to South Central While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood. It was a parody of Boys in the Hood, Poetic Justice, and Menace to Society. And this was like a small role that he played. Quote, guy in the backseat, end quote. And what would be this would be the last thing he would do for the next 4 years.
Okay.
So he was still friends with John Singleton at this point, but he called him like really ugly things that I don't want to include. I saw the quotes online, but I'm like, I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, I'm going to pass on that. You can look it up if you want.
Yeah, basically. And then John was like, I actually don't have to put up with this treatment. So we stopped calling him back.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
And then he just like started becoming really isolated from his friends. Even his old roommate, QD3, was like, he would call my house at random and be like, I'm the king of the streets. I'm the hardest. I told him everything is all good, but I had to take a break. That's a quote from him. By the beginning of 1999, he was turning 30. He moved into an office building in the Santa Barbara Plaza with a shared bathroom down the hall. And by 1999...
Like living in an office building?
Yeah.
Okay.
By March of 1999, this is when the first shooting is going to happen. She had a son that was 2 and was going to school. And his brother Sanjay and his sister Tico had both graduated from college. And then he was selling crack and washing cars for $5. So
Lloyd?
Yeah.
That's sad.
I think it was his brother Sanjay, though, that had died from gang stuff. But
gang violence.
But he had gone to college.
That's really sad.
Yeah.
Like sounds like Lloyd had some kind of a future.
Totally. And he just chose the wrong path. That's why I said I want you to go through the roller coaster with me.
Okay.
He fled the jungle in April of 1999 after what was described as an altercation with the members of the Nation of Islam.
Mm.
And he cleaned out his apartment in the middle of the night and stayed at his grandma's house. And not long after leaving his apartment, he decided to share a Hollywood crash pad with 4 surfer bros that he'd just met.
That sounds fun.
This arrangement ended when he maced one of his roommate's moms.
Oh, that's a choice.
Then he also decided to mace the MTV DJ. Wow, sorry, my brain just like totally farted. Julie Brown.
Oh, VJ. Yeah, Julie Brown.
Yeah.
Downtown Julie Brown.
Yeah. Yeah, he maced her. Yeah. Not a solid path he's taking right now at all.
No.
Nobody likes to be
maced, as far as I know.
I've never met anyone who likes to be maced. Witnesses saw him wielding a gun during an argument on the Venice Beach boardwalk. He seemed violent one minute, then weepy and apologetic the next. Mm-hmm. He also started going to church, but he would rarely make it inside. His aunt said, quote, he would get dressed, go, be there, but he would leave prior to the lesson and walk around the grounds. I figured he was struggling and Satan was pulling him to keep him from hearing the lesson.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Something was happening. I don't know if you can directly blame Satan, but definitely something was going on.
So back to the double murder now. He was seen by witnesses. They said they saw a man well, not him specifically, right? They said they saw a man talking to two people sitting under a tree, and this was around 4 p.m. And they were shot. And in the beginning, Annette was running for her life, and she got shot in the back 5 times, passed later that day. Percy going to the hospital, critical condition, died a week later, recapping, because a lot's happened now in this episode, and I told you it was going to be a long one. A lot of information. When he was back at his grandma's house, he booked a movie 13 days after the murders, so he's like not afraid. He's, not hiding away, which put him on set in New Mexico, starting on July 14th, 1999, in cell block 4 of the penitentiary of New Mexico, which is just like totally fitting for him. This location was known as like one of the deadliest prison riots in the United States history. The cell block was closed down in 1998, like permanently, and it was known as Old Main, this part. But obviously, it was opened for the movie to film there. And there were like really, obviously the energy is heavy and like it's just disgusting inside. Like there's clear marks of violence taking place in there. They said that the atmosphere was very intense. When filming wrapped for the day, they would often like go to a local bar and unwind. And this movie was called Lockdown. The synopsis of Lockdown is Avery has gotten his life back on track. A competitive swimmer, he had to drop out of college to support his girlfriend, Krista, and their son, Jordan. He's back on the swim meet circuit, starting to have some success. When he's approached by a college scout after winning his latest race, he goes out to celebrate with his friends Cashmere and Dre. In an instant, Avery's luck is about to run out.
Not Cashmere and Silk?
Nope.
Or Cashmere and Wool?
Nope. Cashmere and Dre.
Okay. Just checking.
His character in Lockdown, his name was Nate, and he was one of the jailbirds. And the second he entered prison in the movie, he was like immediately the whipping boy. Like they were beating up on him. He was the target. And that was his character. And there was this one scene in the movie where he gets shoved into a prison freezer, and the director had called cut. And he was like really thinking he was this like character in his mind. So he started going after the other guy, the actor, and like continuing and like having an altercation, like an actual altercation. And the altercation was broken up by a tattoo artist on the set, which then led him to beefing with the hair and makeup teams.
Oh my God, get a grip on yourself, dude.
He told the makeup department head, Melanie Mills, quote, he said he was going to find me or this is a quote from her. I'm sorry. He said he was going to find me and my family when we got back to LA, and then he was going to murder us. Yeah.
Method acting.
Method acting for real.
Right.
The director of the film said that he kept antagonizing Master P, who was a star and a producer. And he would tell the director, quote, P's guys would come to me and say, do you want us to fuck him up? No, please, guys, leave him alone.
Huh.
Yeah. So.
The drama.
Yeah. Director said there was always like a real intensity behind his character because obviously he's method acting for real.
Yeah.
So he would need longer periods of time to cool off in between takes.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. And it's not like he's a big star or anything, so I'm surprised they put up with it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he needs time to cool off. Oh, he went after this person. Oh, he threatened this whole lady.
Because it's
this
not like he's a Meryl
family.
Streep.
Right, exactly.
He's a diva extra.
I love the reference, Staff.
Well, she's a big name.
She is a big name. It's just that I'm surprised that was your choice. I would have thought more like, it's not like he's like Chris Pratt or something. Not like he's Meryl Streep.
Greatest actress in the world.
Okay. Love it.
Generally speaking, she's the greatest actress in the world. People, I think, as a collective would say.
Oh, you're right.
That's what I'm saying. He's not like that. He's not on that kind of level. He's like an extra. So yeah, it is wild that they're
That's what I'm
doing
saying.
him favors and putting up with him like this.
Yeah, it's like when they just be like, okay, dude, like, we don't need your bullshit.
We need someone else.
Right.
We'll refilm this shit. I don't know. On the day he was fired from the set of Lockdown, he was spotted by a crew member smoking a sherm stick.
What's a sherm stick?
I'm assuming some kind of paraphernalia.
Like
I don't know. I didn't
weed?
look it up. I assumed you knew what it was. And you were like, oh my God. And I was like, okay, cool. I don't have to go into detail.
Oh, not a sherm stick.
What is a sherm stick? PCP.
Oh, so, okay.
An embalming fluid dip.
Oh, around weed.
What?
It's embalming fluid dip around weed.
PCP is not weed.
No, but don't they put isn't that what it's, he's smoking the weed, right? Or he's just smoking PCP?
When people talk about wet drugs or sherm sticks, they're usually something dipped in liquid or PCP or embalming fluid.
Yeah, so it's like weed.
Or cigarette.
Okay.
One or the other.
Either way, once you add the PCP,
It's pretty fucked.
right?
On the back of a grip truck during his lunch break, he's smoking this PCP. And he's blasting music from a stolen boombox at the same time.
And he's fired, right?
Yeah, he got fired for this. And they were like, hey, can you please return the boombox? Like, it's not yours. And then he stormed into the makeup room and lunged at Melanie Mills,
Oh my gosh.
the makeup artist that he's been threatening.
Yeah.
And before he could reach her, he was intercepted by the tattoo artist that broke up the fight the first time, who
Jeez.
punched him in the face and splattered some blood.
Mm-mm.
And then he was chased off by Master P's entourage.
Ooh.
And then he was running towards the new prison facility down the road. Mind you, this is his lunch break, so he's dressed as a prisoner.
I love it.
And he's decided to scale a barbed wire fence
To get into a prison while he's high on PCP dressed as a prisoner.
trying to get out of the prison.
Oh, I thought you meant like because you said he was running towards the actual prison.
Well, that's where it was towards the new prison, but he's in an old cell block that's still quartered off.
Right. No, but I thought you meant like he
No,
was
it was
trying to get
it was going
into
towards the new prison.
Okay.
So the fence is towards the new prison.
Mhm.
So where are the guards? Towards the new prison. I'm painting a picture here for you.
Yeah, you are. And scaling barbed
at
wire.
this
I'm like,
moment-
ouch.
Sirens start blaring, guns were drawn.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, he unknowingly infiltrated a working prison.
Oops.
The film's producer, Eric Abrahamson, and he was also a former Navy SEAL demolition expert, this guy was.
So he's a badass.
Yeah. He had to plead with the guards to be like, please, let him off the hook. Like, let's not kill this guy. He's on our set. This is what he's supposed to be dressed in. So he went to jail for like a really quickly brief period of time here.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically then at this point, New Mexico didn't press charges against him, but they like banned him from the state. So obviously then Ryu's like really fired from the movie.
Right. They're like, you have to, how
he
do you
got
get
busted
banned from
with,
a whole state? Like when you cross the state lines, is there like a woo, woo, woo? Like,
Right? How do they know you're there?
right.
Like, what if you're at the Four Corners? Is it gonna go? You know, like put a toe over. Beep. Put your whole foot over. Beep 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 beep. Back it up, and then the siren stops.
Like there's somebody checking your fucking ID.
Yeah, like
Oh, you're banned. You're banned from the state.
right. It has on the list on the back the states you're allowed in and banned in. Everywhere's like, no, you're not allowed to be here. Yeah, New Mexico though was like, no, we don't want him.
And who's monitoring that? Okay, never mind.
I don't know.
Especially in New Mexico, this doesn't seem like they have a lot of resources. Okay, I'll stop.
It's fine. I'm just I like it. I like your commentary. I knew you were going to have some appreciation of some things in this.
Oh my God. That's
Because it's just ridiculous.
I have tears.
It's like a movie. But the ironic thing is it was on a movie set.
right. I'm like,
But it's not. This is
actual
real
tears.
fucking life.
Oh my gosh.
So he was hopeful again after he got back to LA because he just did this movie, right?
Mhm.
In New Mexico.
I'm sure
He
his
wrote-
reputation is great, though. People probably really want to fucking work with him. Guess what? He'll threaten your whole fucking family's life.
Right, he'll try to kill you.
Right?
He
great.
will lunge at you and actually attempt to murder you. And then unknowingly
your shit.
infiltrate a prison system.
And steal your
Start a
shit while high
riot.
on PCP.
Yeah.
Let's hire this guy.
So he
He's
wrote
easy to work with.
he wrote a script that was called G in a Bottle.
Hmm.
And it was basically a ripoff of Shazam.
Oh.
It said, the kid finds a bottle and comes And out comes this ex-gang member who's changed his life in so many ways.
Alrighty.
His manager, Christine Chapman, said it was actually kind of good.
Okay.
That it was decent, but like a ripoff of...
Shazam.
Yeah. Kazam.
Shazam.
It's Shazam.
Shazam, Kazam, whatever it was Sinbad.
And Shaquille O'Neal.
Maybe.
Basically Aladdin, except for the genie's an ex-gang member. Or he's trying to reform Aladdin, an ex-gang member.
Basically,
Aladdin is one with the streets. So,
right. And he's a thief.
Yeah.
He's just sporting the purple, though.
What?
He's sporting the purple, though.
Yeah, and white.
Yeah.
But he's got some red on him.
But isn't purple like the LA Kings or something?
I don't know. I'm not sure. That's your alley. I was like, this is going to be great. You're going to like this. And you're like asking me a question. I'm like, bitch, I don't know. Lloyd and Christine's son. Christine's the manager. I just said his talent manager. His talent manager. Moved in with her son, Sean Spraker, who was an aspiring model. After one night of partying, he crashed in the studio apartment of Sean's childhood friend, Jeremy McLaughlin, who was another client of Christine's. Yeah. And he just like claimed squatters' rights and like didn't leave for the next 3 months.
Alrighty.
And Sean said that they didn't really just do much about it because they didn't want to confront him.
Right. They're like, okay, cool, it's fine. Just stay.
Right.
They didn't want to confront him. They're all fucking tiptoeing around him. They're like, he's still here.
Right.
They get home. They're like, fuck.
Yeah. They're like, shit. What's he still doing here? Things are starting
who
to look
invited this fucking guy? Because he's not leaving.
Yeah, he's really taken this welcome thing too far.
Right? Want to stay for dinner? And the next 3 months?
No, actually, though. So things were starting to look up for him. He booked another movie in 2001. It was an indie movie. This was like
she has
the role
this look on her face.
This was apparently the role of his career, but I would argue it's not as iconic as Knucklehead number 2.
Or Nate.
Nate?
Where he's dressed as a prisoner running to a prison high on PCP.
Yeah, that wasn't a character, though. That was Lloyd.
My bad.
That was actually Lloyd.
I'm mixing life with fake.
Yeah, this was
fake. Oh my
the
God,
reality
tired.
versus not reality. Reality versus a movie character. Yeah, no, that was actually Lloyd. That wasn't Nate. Nate was not high. Maybe Nate was high on PCP, but Lloyd was for sure. Anyway, this movie was called Shot, and the synopsis was not a struggling photographer becomes a mentor to a boy who lives in a gang-ridden slum area. Okay. And he like finds himself in some trouble, taking pictures he probably shouldn't.
Oh.
But basically, this was like Lloyd's biggest role to date. But again,
drama.
It's not really Knucklehead number 2. He played a gangbanger in that movie. He was very typecasted. Typecast?
Yeah,
or typecast?
Type. Like you have a type.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's typecast.
Yeah, as a gangbanger.
This is your type. We're casting you in it.
Everyone he worked with, though, said he had real potential to do good things.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, not unfortunately that he had potential, but unfortunately that he chose to go the other way.
They said he could have been a huge actor. He had a lot of intensity. He commanded the screen. They said that his friend John Singleton compared him to Denzel Washington when he was on set. That he like commanded what he was doing.
Well, I do kind of remember Knucklehead number 2. I have to look up what the guy actually looks like, but I totally remember that scene where they're like yelling at Ricky and then he starts running and then Knucklehead number 2 shoots him in the back. Ugh.
Yeah.
So sad.
So,
and then Doughboy's mom has a total shit fit and starts telling Doughboy it should have been him and not Ricky. And okay, I'm reliving it all.
It's fucked up. It's a sad movie.
It's terrible, but I love it.
Yeah, they just were all like, he had major potential, like everyone he ever worked with. But they said he would act like a gangster on set too. He apparently threatened that director and would go around. He all of a sudden, it was probably the DGFs or like his groupies, his entourage that would go with him. They were never on screen with him, but they were just like there behind the camera and they were heavily armed. And people said that when he worked on Shot, he would get to work in the strangest ways. Like one day he was on a skateboard. One day he was on rollerblades or a scooter. The next day he was in a car, which he was like, yeah, I stole it. People were sus on where he was living or if he even had like a real place to live. He was stealing food off the set. And then one day he mysteriously vanishes from the set of the movie, and we're going to leave it at that.
This is sad. Like, it's fucked up, but then it's also sad.
Come back for part 2 to hear about Satan rituals. I'll give you that hint. So you come back for part 2.
Okay.
You'll be here regardless. I'm telling our listeners.
They're going to be like, fuck, we're just going to listen to part 2.
Yeah. They're like,
to the end of the
all
book.
the way ahead.
Right.
Yeah, I don't have part 2 ready yet, though. I was like afraid if I did it all in one, because like we said that the 2-parters aren't doing too hot. But I was afraid if we did it all in one, it would be like a 3-hour-long episode.
Well, you're only at 1 hour and 9 minutes.
Oh, so maybe it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. I thought you were going to do a lot more interjecting.
I'm interjecting. I'm just tired.
I am interjecting. I said that Nate was crazy, and I said no, it was Lloyd.
Interjection 101.
Yes.
Sorry. No, I feel... Never mind. I injected as much as I could.
Injected? Interjected?
Yep.
I injected PCP before this episode.
Momisms.
Yeah, momisms. And now I don't even remember it. I have to go back and listen to this to hear what you said.
What you said.
Daphneisms. Yeah, I have a notes app. I know they've already heard this in my phone called Momisms. That's some shit she said, like attribulated. What? Probably, maybe. Just the weird things this woman says.
Well, it happens.
It does. It happens to all of us.
Brains don't
To the best of us, to the worst of us, to anyone.
To the most of us.
Yeah, I am the most of us. Yeah, I'm having that really struggle today.
That really struggle.
Words too.
Yep.
Words and grammar, all of the above have gone
All of
because
the above.
I'm hoping to get more than 2 hours of sleep tonight. I'm going to drug my dog. I'm going to drug myself.
All righty.
We're going to do PCP.
I was going to say, where are you getting your, what is it called? A Schmidt stick?
A sherb.
A sure.
We're going to Schmidt stick. Schmidt stick.
A Schmidt stick.
But yeah, I really liked this. I was like super interested. I was like, this is one of the ones where it's like, I wanted, some of them I stall out on wanting to do because it's like, oh, I heard this 100 times but you know what I mean.
I do know
And
what you
this
mean.
is one that I was like, I need to keep going because how I found out about it was, I'll tell you in the next episode, okay?
Okay, tell me in the next episode.
Flag it. This is what I need to say.
Check
Need
mark
to
it.
tell you how I found out about it.
Okay. Yeah, I totally get it because that's like Betty Lou Beats. I was like, oh my gosh. And I just was like, yeah, but
I
nobody
was
cared.
enamored by that.
Well, you were the only one.
I bet Lindsay squared with Vienna in the middle of the sandwich with the Heather toothpick in the middle of it was also enamored by the story.
Maybe. It's pretty fucking crazy. Although nobody's put their ghost stories. Like, I can't be the only one with weird shit happening.
Okay, but seriously, people come back for part 2. It's going to be crazy because I'll have to tell you how I learned about it because it was in the weirdest way I learned about it. And then it was like, I learned about this too. And I was like, oh my God, I was just going to do it on the other event that happened. And I was like, I can't just leave out this stuff.
No, you can't. Whatever.
And
we're coming up on.
chronologically in events, it made sense to do this shit first.
Like the first stuff first.
Yeah, chronologically.
Right.
But hey, I gave you I did a Gale. I was like, and the Cadillac belonged to. He was born on this day, and this is where he's from, and this is his middle name.
His favorite color is orange.
No, it's red.
But,
Come on.
I'm sorry. It's been an all-day day.
It's been a day.
I've pulled an all-dayer.
I have too. That means no naps around here. Pulling all dayers. All right. You can follow us on Instagram.
You couldn't follow us.
You can follow us into the darkness on Instagram.
I'm glad we make ourselves laugh.
At That's Disturbing Podcast. You can send us a case request there too. Or drop in, I don't know, your ghost stories. Well,
Right? Come on, people.
yeah,
I was, like, so
Quick
excited.
Suggestion.
I was so excited to see what people were going to say, and nobody said shit. Really? I just get crickets. I'm like, come on.
Somebody tell us something is going on here. I feel like we've asked them for ghost stories before, and they haven't complied either.
Well, I feel like we've asked for a lot of things, and there hasn't been much compliance.
No.
Although Lynn's 321 did give us her Bloody Mary story, which was awesome.
Yeah.
I read it and I laughed out loud. A, so excited that someone responded, and B,
Of course she did. She's the loyalist of the loyal.
she is the loyalist of the loyal. But that being said, I was very, oh gosh, what's the word? When I read it, I laughed out loud.
She was rejoiced.
I was very entertained by the story because I'm like,
and why rejoiced is the word that came to my mind.
I was like, oh, who does Bloody Mary in the basement of a church with their Girl Scout troop? Like, Lynn's 321.
Only
That
Lynn's
too.
321. The bravest Girl Scout there ever was.
No kidding.
And the most rebellious in a church.
Yes.
But maybe it was an old mirror, a relic,
Maybe.
if you will.
If you will.
A
All right.
portal
Anyway.
to Mary's side. Not to the other side, to Mary's side. Okay. Yeah, that's our Instagram. And you can also send us a Gmail too. That's disturbingpodcast@gmail.com if you feel so inclined. Bye-bye. Catch part 2.